22 games in.
And we're still in the promotion mix.
It's Talk of the Town, episode 26. Hello, welcome. That's
So creepy. So creepy.
I hadn't really planned. I was going to be caught out.
What a start.
Hello. Welcome to the Abbey Stadium, home of table toppers Cambridge United, where the Reds are this afternoon. Once again, as always, I am joined by Harry Maynard. Harry Maynard, welcome.
Cheers, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm really creeped out. What's in that cup?
Yeah, it is a coffee. It's quite a strong coffee, actually, made for me by the general manager, Tom Woolman. Huge thank you to him. Got lots coming up for you this afternoon. Erdem Conyer is going to be, as always, coming by to give us the lowdown on what's been going on behind the scenes. We'll have Doug from Cambridge coming over to give us the lowdown on our opposition this afternoon. Ben Harwood, the groundsman, is going to talk. There's been a bit of talk in the last day or two about the pitch here at Cambridge United. So he's going to come and give us his insight into what maybe the impact of the pitch could have on the game. We'll hear from John Yams. We'll hear from a couple of the new signings as well. So it's a jam-packed show. We're with you live until just before 3 o'clock when the Reds will kick off. Of course, sad once again that you can't be here at the Abbey with us, joining us, but you can, of course, watch the game on iFollow.
In spirit, in soul, you make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world, from the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks, you're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you there is only one, abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal, with access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There's no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, no better way to show your love. When you can't be there with iFollow.
Yeah, so if you are wanting to watch the game this afternoon, of course, just £10, watch on the iFollow. That money does, initially it goes to Cambridge United, but if we get a certain amount of viewers, money does come to the club. So we can generate some money from your support at home on iFollow. Huge thank you for all of you who continue to watch the games from wherever you watch, your living room, your bedroom, the bath. Some people might watch in the bath.
I knew that was coming.
Possibly a bit odd. The good thing about it is like, how many times, sorry, I'm going a bit rogue here, everyone just strap in. How many times, I certainly have, when you nip to the toilet, it's like 42 on the clock and you think, do you know what? Quick wee, then Reds. You're in the toilet, you hear a celebration. You don't need to do that anymore. That's a positive of watching at home on iFollow.
Take your laptop to the toilet.
Take your lappy to the toilet. Yeah. Anyway, you can, of course, moving on very swiftly from watching football on the toilet, you can, of course, get a Ballers. Support your appetite as per Tuesday night. If you could get down to the... Pardon? Huh? You can, of course, get yourself a Ballers. If you can get down to the club, you can access our matchday offer of a burger, chips and a drink for just £5. If you can't get down to the club, Uber Eats or Just Eat, you can order there. So please do support the club by supporting Ballers. Harry, we'll go through the team news very, very shortly. A bit of a strange run on Tuesday night, I thought, a bit mixed. In a way, it was disappointment because obviously we got knocked out of the cup. But I think the overriding emotion was one of sort of pride in the battle and the performance they put on, not just Tuesday, but throughout the whole cup run.
Yeah, I think when we say it was a proud performance, that also means we played well and we were in the game, but we got battered. But you take it. I mean, we were kind of sitting there saying in like the last 15 minutes of the game, like, it's nice just to still be in it. Do you know what I mean? They did fluff a few chances, but you think we probably should have had a penalty. Yes or no, our goal was offside, but we'll ignore that. And I think we left there feeling that on another day we maybe could have taken that to extra time But what it definitely was a good platform to then come back to playing in the league. We've been playing in the league for 4 weeks.
Well, I was just before the show, I was looking. I think the last time we played was that 2nd of January. And if you compare in that time, I think it was Cambridge have played. Just looking at my notes here, I think Cambridge have played about 6 games in the league in January. I think they're unbeaten in all those. They haven't lost since I think about the 29th of December. So they're on a very good run.
Exactly, and the league's kind of gone a bit weird where teams haven't played as many as each other, and we've got so many games in hand now. Carlisle have got a lot of games in hand. I think, again, I looked at the table. I think there's 8 points that separate the top half, which is just ridiculous. So I think today will be a very good test of, again, where we're at and whether we can still keep the momentum we had over the Christmas run, or whether maybe we've gone back a little bit and we've got to rebuild it again.
And I think that's a key word, actually, momentum. I mean, when you hear from John, he's very much a sort of manager. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't seem to get too low. It's very much of next game. Whatever's happened in the last game, gone. Next game is important. And I think that's the sort of attitude, I suppose. It's the sort of attitude that Steve Evans had 10 years ago when we managed to get out of the conference. And into League Two, and it's the sort of mentality I think you need from a manager, and that needs to get over to the squad. That momentum every week. That game's gone. Next 3 points available. They're the most important 3 points.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at the games that we've actually done well in, it's when we're playing the better opposition. And when we went through that run where we lost at home to Grimsby and sides like that. If you actually look at what we've done, we went away to Forest Green, I think, when they were second, and we won there. We've already won away at Bolton. Yes, I know they're not doing so well, but they're a big club. We took points off Newport, who again were right up there, and Cambridge. These were right at the top end of the table when we beat them at home, and we got the chance to do the league double over them here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did hear from John. Sam Gadsden caught up with John at the training ground this week. Let's hear what he had to say in the build-up to this one here at the Abbey.
For our attention turns back to the league on Saturday as we travel to top of the table Cambridge. Your thoughts heading into that one?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Squad are looking forward to it. Nice to see everybody out on the grass again and training well and staying healthy. Let's hope it continues.
Yeah, you say, I'm sure you and the lads are looking forward to it. It's crazy to think that Bolton was almost a month ago now, our last league outing.
I know, and like I say, Tuesday night was our first game since the Leeds game. It's just been, it is what it is. You just got to get on with it. But it just hope all the lads come through fit and healthy and ready to go.
Some fantastic league form of recent. I think it's 8 unbeaten now in total on the bounce. We'll be looking to continue that into Saturday.
Oh yeah, say we set up every game. We set up to win or do our best that we can do. And let's just hope we can get the momentum going again.
As we've mentioned, obviously a few games off. It's almost time for us to play catch up now. A few teams in and around us in the table have got almost 3 or 4 games ahead of us now.
Well, yeah, you'd rather have the points than the games, but it is what it is. We've got you sacrifice one thing to have a run in the cup, and then with the COVID, you can't plan these things. Listen, I'm so glad that we're fighting that, to go that way rather than sitting at the bottom thinking you've got games to catch up and not get relegated. But listen, the old thing of it, the boys, the club, we're all looking forward and we've enjoyed it. The fans, I think, the feedback we're getting, they're enjoying the run. So let's hope we all get behind the club and keep it going.
Yeah, the fans have certainly been enjoying it of recent. And one player that they were particularly impressed with on Tuesday night was Josh Wright, a really solid outing for him in his first proper minutes for the Reds.
Yeah, I've known, repeating myself again, but I've known Josh and Mark and that we go back a long, long way. And always been a class player, Josh. Always is and always will be. But he gets other people playing as well. And it's a credit that he wants to come here to the club and the standards that we're trying to raise and what have you, and the training ground gets better, the training, the playing, everything, it just improves it. You get good players around you, Jordan McGrew, you got James Tilley, you got these sort of people that it makes everybody play. You come to work and it's look, you watch the football and the training and it's good intensity, and all the lads are getting on, touch wood, and it's just good. It's good atmosphere at the minute.
Yeah, and I suppose that was helped by the FA Cup but unfortunately we couldn't get the result we wanted Tuesday. But I suppose a lot of what the fans were saying is how impressive it is that we can come away from a team like Bournemouth, top team, that only just relegated from the Premier League, and be disappointed with the loss. It shows how far we've come, really.
Also shows you how far we've got to go, because you've got to keep setting your standards. And the FA Cup was obviously a great experience to do, and it's a shame that the fans weren't there. But, we've got to learn from that, and you've just got to look at yourselves. And we learnt a lot about some of our players. We learnt a lot about what we can and can't do. we also know what we've got to improve on going forward, and that's what it's all about. It's all about keeping the ball rolling, keeping momentum going.
Thanks, Gaffer.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's bring you that team news now then for the home side. Cambridge, Callum Burton in goal, Kyle Knoll, Paul Digby, Greg Taylor, Luke Hannant, Paul Mullen. Paul Mullen, top goal scorer in the league, I believe. Harrison Dunk, Wes Houlihan, obviously ex-Premier League Wes Houlihan. Jubril Okendina, Adam May and Joe Ironside. Subs for them, the sub-goalkeeper is Kai Mackenzie-Lyle, Jake Iredale, Liam O'Neill, Leon Davis, Sheila Tracy, Gibbs and Ben Warman. Your Reds team this afternoon is Glenn Morris in goal. George Frankham comes back into the side, as does Tony Craig. Both missed Tuesday night's defeat at Bournemouth. Also with them is John Tunnicliffe and Tom Dallison make up the back four. In the midfield, we've got Jack Powell, Jake Hessenthaler and Josh Wright starts. I think it's his first start for the Reds, Josh Wright. And then we've got Sam Matthews, Jordan Maguire, Drew makes his first appearance for Crawley, and Tom Nichols completes the 11. On the bench, Stuart Nelson, Josh Docherty, Joe McNerney, Archie Davis, David Radari and James Tilley. Harry, a couple of changes there. I think there's four changes from the starting lineup from Tuesday night. Obviously, Tony Craig and George Frankham come back in. How important does that be to our sort of traditional back four? I know Josh Docherty's come in, but those four very experienced players and have played a lot this season.
Huge, yeah. I think you look at that back four, and straight away we all said that's really solid. And we just know how comfortable they'll be with long balls coming over. They'll sweep that up really nicely. Defending set pieces, we're naturally much more solid with Frankham. And with Craig back in the team, you also, depending on how the game goes, you can push Frankham up into a midfield role. He's our second top goal scorer. He's got 4 goals in the league. So you've got that option as well. So it's great to have them both back.
One of the other changes into that lineup is Josh Wright. We heard from John just then talking about Josh Wright, saying he's always been a quality player. A good addition. I think, in a way, a lot of the discussion and the focus has been on his brother coming. Obviously, he's a big name, but from footballing terms, Josh has got good League Two pedigree, hasn't he? He's come from Leyton Orient. He changed the game, I think, Tuesday. Really, really good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was our best player when he came on, and we changed the shape, and he had a really good impact. Was involved in the goal as well, and he's got championship experience as well, which is really nice. And then plus with the addition up front of Jordan Maguire, Drew coming in to get his first appearance, his first start for Crawley. They obviously know each other from Leyton Orient, so do you know what I mean? Straight away you've got those two players starting, but they won't feel too out of the picture because Jordan's got Josh and vice versa. So it's nice that you've already got relationships in with your new players. I think that will help us.
Yeah, I mean, that's something else that John spoke about in his interview just then, was about the atmosphere around the training ground and around the squad is great. The recruitment, obviously, we did lose Max Waters. I think it was inevitable, and I think most people agree that actually it was a good deal for the club, and you haven't seen many fans complaining about the fact that Max has gone. But actually, we've brought in a few players, and all of them, to me, on the face of it, obviously we haven't seen a lot of them yet, but they all seem to be making the squad a lot stronger.
Yeah, definitely. And what Erdem will say, no doubt, is Crawley have now shown that they can be a platform if you want to kickstart your career, if you want to just have a little bit of a bounce back, you'll get opportunities here. We play quite a nice, attractive brand of football. So I think for the players that have come in, yes, a lot of them are still quite young. Tilly's young, Maguire, Drew's young, Radari obviously has no league experience, but Crawley is very much a club that they know that they can come in, give 110% and they'll thrive. And I really do think that if we've brought in 3 or 4 attacking options, chances are a couple of those are going to be really, really good signings for Crawley. So I think the business has been really smart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe in the past you might have looked at the bench and gone, okay, well, what is that going to player bring to the squad if we need him to? And you sort of think, okay, maybe there's 2 or 3 players on the bench. I think now John will probably be turning around and going, actually, he can get me a goal. If one of my defenders is, I've got good replacements. Joe McNerney, who's got experience. Adibawale goes off on Tuesday. David Cisse comes into the side. It wasn't working with Nick Cerula. Josh Wright comes into the side. The bench has all of a sudden got a lot of quality.
100%. And I think we haven't spoken. Naderson's obviously dropped out of the squad. We don't actually know the reason. But in saying that, as much as it's great to have Naderson in the starting 11, and I think for a lot of fans he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet. But again, when he's not involved, like you said, I don't think we're going to not be a goal threat. I don't think it hinders our chances too much, so to speak. We've got quality all through the group, and the players know that as well. So they know that when they do step in, and when someone's coming to replace a player like Naderson, they've got to step up and try and keep that shirt. It's got to be a healthy thing.
Yeah, well, I was just about to touch on that. Obviously, John we said a minute ago that John's the sort of manager who won't let the players drop off their energy levels, their performance levels. He'll keep them going. And I suppose having that looking over your shoulder, and it's one thing. A little bit on a tangent. Something I've always been impressed with Glenn Morris. I don't really feel like he's ever really had something behind him really pushing him to sort of go, do you know what, I'm going to take your shirt. But his performance levels have been so high consistently for years. That's almost unnatural, isn't it? A lot of these players, they'll be looking over their shoulder, looking at the bench, going, do you know what, if I don't perform, he's taking my shirt.
I completely agree. Yeah, you've got to have that fresh, healthy competition. It's never nice having decent players miss out. But it's part and parcel of football that you need to have that depth in your squad, especially as we've gone on a long cup run. Do you know what I mean? It takes its toll. Been nice that we've had that little 2-week hiatus away from football in a way to regroup, almost like a winter break we've kind of had. And we come back to league action today with a pretty much a fresh squad with a couple of new faces. And I think we've got to fancy ourselves to start chipping away the teams above us. We've got the games in hand, and we can slowly, hopefully, move up the table.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's going to be important that our forward line do get us goals and do. I mean, that's been one of our positives, hasn't it, this year, that we have had plenty of goal scorers. One side who certainly have a lot of goal scorers is Cambridge. Obviously, we won't want to touch too much on Cambridge because we will allow Doug from the radio here locally to talk more about them. But I mean, 3 names that immediately stand out for me. Obviously, Paul Mullen's been scoring goals for fun. Wes Houlihan done it at the very top level, and Joe Ironside. We obviously struggled against him on when they played. He made a big impact when they came to the People's Pension Stadium. The lads at the back are going to have a tough gig today, aren't they? They're going to have to be switched on.
100%. And I think even the whoever's sitting out of the 3 midfielders in front of them, again, is going to have to be right on it and then sit on the striker's toes. I think between Mullen, Ironside and Houlihan, they've over 30 goals I think they've scored between them. It's a real trio that probably as a group is far too high far too good for this level of football. And it's going to take us having a really good day defensively, and probably them to have a little bit of an off day as well if we do want to come here and get a result. Otherwise, it's going to be a case of who can score more than the others.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up after this break, we will obviously have Erdem Conyer, we'll have Ben Harwood, and we will have a representative, as I just mentioned there, from Cambridge local radio. But for now, let's have a quick look at an advert from the People's Pension.
Since 2017, £30 million has been lost to pension scammers. That's about 26,000 Premier League season tickets. During these uncertain times, it's more important than ever to defend your hard-earned money. Be on the ball to anyone contacting you out of the blue. Find out more about pension scams and how to avoid them by visiting our website.
Yes, back. We're joined now by CEO Erdem Conyer. It's turned on, I think. Oh. Hopefully, we'll find that in a minute. You'll see Nick the Geordie waving at you if it's not turned on. Firstly, Erdem, let's touch on. Let's summarise Tuesday night and also the FA Cup run, and then I'm going to put that to bed and we'll start looking ahead. But I think it's important that we do touch it. Firstly, what were your feelings leaving Bournemouth on Tuesday?
I felt positive because I saw a team that, despite the COVID, battled together, gave an honest impression of the game, and possibly deserved to go to extra time. I know Glenn kept this in the game at times, but to match a full strength side in the way that we did with a bit of a depleted defence, it was very pleasing to see the depth in the squad and the unity that we have at the club at the moment.
It was one of those. It was a funny game. On the one hand, I went away going, do you know what? Bournemouth outclassed us. They were superb. On the other hand, I thought, well, we could have got something. And It's not often you come away from games like that. Normally, it's one or the other. But I did really feel like it was a case of what could have been. But also, you sort of think that they were class, weren't they, Bournemouth?
Oh, look, at the end of the day, you're playing against Solanke's Lermers. I know they came on, but you've got Wilshire playing, ex-England international. So you've got a lot of, these are top players. And I felt we managed well, and we gave them something to think about. We could have gone 1-0 up when Naderson had the chance and Cerula with the... So we, after not playing for so long, we did really well, I feel, to put our intensity into the game. And I'm excited about today, to be honest with you, because I'm intrigued to see, can we carry on in this consistent manner? That I'm sure we can, and I hope we do.
I think a lot of times in this league you play so often, a lot of teams are quite thankful when they get a Tuesday night game called off, like Cambridge had in the week at Salford, even though they travelled up there. Do you think once this game gets started today, we might be saying it was probably quite nice that we had that game at Bournemouth to get the legs going again?
I don't know, I'd rather have the games played so we had the points on the board. But obviously if we have a fantastic run now, then it worked in our favour. But what is pleasing and complimentary to us is a lot of teams are trying to call the games off now when they're playing us. So it seems like it's a new element of being feared a little bit. And I'm not having a pop at anyone. It's just that's something
They're
that's
up in
happening
whispers.
at the moment. Yeah. So that's pleasing because that's never happened before.
Yeah. So we have to get used to it. Well, before we were saying earlier on, we haven't actually played in the league since the 2nd of Jan. Before that, we were on a great run, unbeaten in 8. How important do you think it is that we pick up from the 2nd of Jan and continue that run in the league?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, if we lose today, we lose today. But I know one thing is this team, we can beat anyone on our day. I said it from day one. On our day, we're game for anyone. And it's just about making sure our days are more often than not, which is at the moment. And I'm excited about today because it's a good test. And we're good against these type of teams. And it's just, we got to start doing the jobs against the Grimsbys and stuff, which that's the only defeat where I look back and I think, could have, should have won that game. But apart from that, we've been very consistent in the way we play. I don't even think Carlisle hurt us.
Yeah,
well, I thought they
were effective.
They're
the best
You can
team.
see
They're
why
the
they're
best
up there,
team,
can't
I
you,
think.
Carlisle?
But look, they're a 1-0 up at Exeter now. I mean, Exeter's at theirs, but they had a really good, and Cheltenham, I felt. Them two were the ones where I thought, you know what, these two are good sides, really good sides, and you look at what they're doing right. Because to be fair, to the way they're playing is good.
Yeah, and Cambridge have got bags of goals throughout the team. We know that stats don't lie in that respect. How nice is it to have Craig and Frankham coming back into the back four today to go up against that? Yeah,
look, Tony Craig's a leader. I think another leader we have is Josh Wright in the team now. I think I've said it from day one, he's like our Tony Craig in midfield. But we also do score goals ourselves, and hopefully today Maguire Drew, I fancy him doing a little bit because he's very hungry and he's a local boy. And I can tell when I talk to him in training, the boy's so eager to impress and stay at Crawley. Yeah. So that's interesting.
You touched upon the fact that Jordan Maguire is a local lad, James Tilley's a local lad, Ashley Naderson is a local lad. Is that something you've intentionally done, brought in local people, or is it something that's just happened by coincidence? The good quality and they're there.
To be fair, in the pre-season...
Are we more attractive to them maybe as a club now?
No, I think it's twofold. One, yes, we may be more attractive, but secondly, and there's a good feeling, so people want to come to you. But in all honesty, in pre-season, when we sat down with Yamsy said he wanted to recruit within the M25. I was like, why? We can get from North, we can get from Ireland. And he goes, no. We get everyone local, so this is their houses, they're settled, and you don't have too much of a risk. So we went with this, and to be fair, it's played wonders. Like, if you look at the Latin, like James Tilley and all these lads, they're local, and they want to play for their local team, like Naders.
Yeah. And I know you like a little bit of history. Harry, actually, but I'm sorry, I'm stealing your stat.
Well, I've kind of half stolen it as well. It took some digging, but we haven't actually won 4 away league games in a row. Do you know how long it's been?
15 plus years or something?
Yeah, 17 years since that last happened. So it's a big opportunity again to have one of those runs in a season where in 10 years' time you might look back and go, cool, we were on a really good run then.
And the last time we clarified...
It was a promotion season as well.
Yes, 03-04, we clarified this with John Barnett. The last time we did it, we were beating, I think in the 4 was like Welling, Western Supermare, Moor Green, people like that. And we've done it recently against Bolton, Leighton Orient and Forest Green.
There's some, and if you did it here, you get the 4th here today against away to top of the league. There's not just any four games that you've done it at. It's 4 top teams.
No, we're a good side, and we believe we're a good side, and hopefully we can perform consistently, get that rubber to green, stay injury free, and we've got a chance.
And I know we kept you a long time. What is the mindset? Because with the COVID, with the FA Cup run, a lot of games in hand, which we've discussed. Today you come into it and go, Cambridge is top of the league. We're 8 points behind them with 3 games in hand. Is the mindset that they're the target? Whoever's top of the league, that's who we want to catch with these games in hand, or is the target just win as many points as we can and get in that playoffs?
I think we're not bothered about other teams. The mindset is about us because we believe that we're good enough to do well. And the mindset among the lads and the management, you can see it's all about us. We want to win. And there's a big winning mentality at the moment. But like it's football, anything can happen. It's 11v11 on the day. So we just have to make sure we apply ourselves and try our hardest.
Absolutely.
All good.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Erdem, thank you very much for joining us. On the back of our shirts this year is Innovation Fire and Security. Peter Frake, the MD, caught up with me a while back to put together a little bit of information about what those guys do. And to Bolton Wanderers over the festive period and pick up 6 points, the Reds have had to defend very well. But whilst all that's been going on, we've also been making sure that we're defending well here at home.
We've enjoyed a partnership now at the club for best part of 7 years. We initially started out looking after the intruder alarm system, put on the fire alarm system as well through another supplier. Through those 7 years we've had negotiations about looking after the stewards' jackets and other forms of sponsorship. that culminated into looking at a better deal now through Joe Comper to upgrade the antiquated CCTV system to a new state-of-the-art IP system. It gives them great coverage across the front of the car park, which we didn't have before, players' entrances, and also now the away fans' entrance is better covered.
So if you need to protect your business or your home, you know who to call. Innovation Fire and Security, installing confidence and peace of mind.
We are joined now by Doug from BBC Radio Cambridgeshire. Doug, thank you very much for joining us. We every week we try to get somebody on from the opposition, and I understand you watch Cambridge regularly. Having a great season, aren't they, Cambridge United?
Yeah, very much so. And I think the big plus for United and for everyone connected with the club is the improvement on last season. In fact, the last couple of seasons where, you know, they've been at the wrong end of the table, fighting too many battles that you wouldn't want to fight. So the turnaround, really, since Colin Calderwood left the building and Mark Bonner took over, has been very impressive.
He's an interesting manager, I think, Mark Bonner. From what I see, I don't see a huge amount of him, but he seems quite young. He seems quite energetic and like a forward thinker. Is that sort of modern manager?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he's been at the club actually since
it's been a long time.
Yeah, really.
So I was with Sean Derry last night, and he was sort of saying,
sorry, pick up that name for you, Harry.
That's a small one. We had the Moose on last week. That was a bigger one. He was basically saying, he was being really complimentary of the way the club's been run, and not to have that desperation to go out and chuck a lot of money at a manager. And it's not often that a League Two club can really employ from within. So I think it's quite nice to have someone that can come in and knows the setup already.
Yeah, I guess sometimes you can have a manager that's sat right next to you that you don't expect to be the manager and think can do the job. And here at Cambridge, they've gone through lots of name managers, people like Sean Derry, as you nicely name dropped, Colin Calderwood for a while as well, and it just hasn't quite worked out for them. Mark Bonner's been at the club since he was a young lad. He's worked within the community scheme. He worked his way through the youth teams in terms of development, ended up heading up the academy, and he's found his way into the first team setup, firstly as coach, then as assistant manager, and now he's got his opportunity and he's making the most of it. And with a win rate of over 50%, clearly something's going well.
And it's a great story for Cambridge United. It's a great story for him personally. And I suppose it's something to inspire. I've worked in community schemes and worked with a lot of young coaches who sort of want to be at that level, and it's not an easy thing to do. But having an example of someone who's managing in the Football League is an inspiration to the thousands of coaches who are working in the grassroots and the community, that they can actually get there.
Yeah, well, two things there, really. I mean, he's very innovative in terms of the way that, you know, he likes to look at sort of modern methods and approach the game in a slightly different way. And, of course, the big plus for him and for the club and for all the Cambridge fans out there that are enjoying this season, admittedly not at the stadium, is the fact that he knows this club inside out. He knows how it works. He knows how to make the players tick. He knows the kind of football that he wants to play and the kind of football that the fans will enjoy, and it's playing out very well at the moment. Still a long way to go in the current season, of course, but, you know, it's playing out well for him. But it's, as I said earlier, you know, it's sometimes a manager is there that you don't think of, and, you know, you surprise yourself, don't you, sometimes?
Yeah.
On the pitch, kind of as the season's ebbed and flowed, you were right up at the top of the table really early on, and then it dipped a little bit. I think probably I personally maybe thought, you know, that's a team that's just had that good start, and now they're dropping off. But you've come back and you've bounced back and had another go at it, which I guess shows that, you know, it is a good group, and that it wasn't just a flash in the pan at the start of the season, that you won a few games. You're there for the long haul.
Absolutely, I think that there's two good signs in there. Firstly, the players and the manager have said this to me on a number of occasions this season. In that side that hate winning. No player likes losing games of football, but they hate losing games of football. It really gets to them. The other thing is that at some point in any season, you're going to tail off. You'll lose a few games. You can't go all season without losing a few games of football. And they had a spell just before Christmas where they didn't win for 5, and they've bounced back from that, and that's a really good characteristic to have, and they're unbeaten in the current month, up until now anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I hope that changes this afternoon. It's an interesting point, and I've said it a few times throughout the season. I don't know if it's because of COVID or the situation. Some of the bigger clubs are maybe suffering, like the likes of Bolton and your typical clubs you think would be up. Colchester, for example, lost again last night, and I think they haven't won in 9. And they're the sort of side, the Boltons and Colchesters, traditionally you think they'll be in and around the playoffs. There does seem to be the likes of us, the likes of Cambridge United,
Changing of the
Carlisle.
guard.
Those clubs who traditionally you'd think make sure you stay in the league and hope for the best. That's certainly, I think, our often thought process as Crawley fans. They seem to be doing quite well this year, the smaller clubs. Seems to be a lot up there. Do you think there's anything in that, or do you think...
I think a lot comes down to, and I really do think it's in terms of the psychology this season, and it's another thing that Mark Bonner has brought to the club in terms of making sure you're very, very focused in what is such a strange season. We'll probably never have a season like this. And this goes back right to the opening day of the season when Cambridge played up at Birmingham. And there was a lot of talk before the game about playing in front of no fans, just playing in empty stadiums. And the psychology that you have to manage in terms of the players and getting them geared up to play in that kind of situation, which they're not used to. Players are used to getting an adrenaline rush from the crowd. They haven't got that. There's lots of stuff going off the pitch in terms of COVID and the regular testing, and everything having to be done in a very, very different way. So a lot of this season, I think, comes down to the psychology. If you can get that right and keep your players switched on, then I think you're on to a winner this season. And it's a season like any other season. In all 4 divisions, you're seeing surprises left, right and centre, and that will continue for the rest of the campaign, I think.
West Ham in the Premier League.
Exactly.
That,
Let's talk goals. A lot of League Two clubs would snap your arm off to have a 20-goal striker. We've kind of had one, sold him. Cambridge have got 2. So how good are Mullin and Ironside?
They're very good, and we here at Cambridge have been waiting a long, long time to see not only one man that can score goals, but 2 men that can score goals, and the 2 between them this season have got 29 goals, which is pretty impressive at any level, really. And it's made a huge difference for 2 or 3 years now. You know, you're looking at what's going on out on the pitch, and you think, why can't Cambridge have a player in their side that can score goals? And Paul Mullin arrived at the club on loan at the end of last season, and it was a bit left field. No one quite knew how the move came about, but it was obviously a move that fitted both player and club. I managed to get him on a permanent deal, and he's one of those players that if you speak to them, he'll speak to Paul Mullin, he'll say, I go out there and I expect to score goals. Not I want to score goals, I expect to score goals. And he's one of those players that don't come along very often at any club. It's not very often you have a 20-goal a season striker. Every time he gets the ball in the 18-yard box, you expect him to score, and that's a big plus. And Joe Ironside alongside him, the 2 work very well together. He's got 9, so he's surpassed last season's tally by 2 goals already, so it's working well.
Yeah, great. And obviously, before we get a score prediction from you, Wes Houlihan, sort of in behind them, how important is it to have a player of that experience and that quality playing at this level? Has he made, not even necessarily just on the pitch, but being around the club, do you think he's made a huge difference to Cambridge United?
Yeah, well, it's his character, and Mark Bonner's always tried to bring not only the right players, but the players with the right character both on and off the pitch. And Wes is an incredible player. When he's on top of his game, he is unplayable.
Some of the goals he's scored have been unbelievable.
Yeah, but he's got 3 this season. He's got 7 assists in the league this season as well, which is a big part of what Paul Mullin and Joe Ironside have been doing just ahead of him. And he picks out the passes that you don't expect him to pick out, and that sometimes other players can't even read, but his creativity wins United points, and that's a big plus in this division.
Yeah, and obviously Crawley got a good result at our place at the People's Pension Stadium. What are you expecting to happen today?
I'm expecting a very tough game, actually. I was very impressed with Crawley in the 2-1 win for the Reds, actually, back in, what was it, Halloween, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I was impressed by the way that they created chances. They came back from 1-0 down to win the game 2-1. And they're an impressive outfit under John Yams, and I think it's going to be a really tight one today. I'll go for 1-1 draw.
Fantastic. But sitting on the fence, on the radio, probably going, we're going to be 4-0, but Crawley audience, he knows you. Doug, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time, and enjoy the afternoon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Let's have a look back at that now, when the Crawley played Cambridge earlier in the season and managed to get a good 3 points at the People's Pension Stadium.
Cambridge have lost just the 1 game this season. They've looked brilliantly. Oh, that's an early goal that they've scored. It's a wonderful strike with just 3 minutes gone. Ironside creeping into the penalty area, connects with the header. Cambridge front 2 have now scored 16 between them this season. Superb cross from Noyle, committed work from the striker, and an early opener for high-flying Cambridge. Cleared away by Dunk. Crawley trying to stamp some authority on this game. Long crossfield ball is just wide as it's nodded back across the face. It's Doherty with the delivery, angled into the penalty area. Does superbly well to pick out a teammate here. Powerful header. Powell starting to control things a bit in midfield. Crawley sent wide by Waters. Another chance for a shot, spilled but gathered by Mitov. Well, he's a tough one to beat, Mitov. Already kept 6 clean sheets this season. And he's managed to produce a save to keep out Nichols here. Clearance away by Morris. Nichols battling for it, scrapping to return it to a teammate. Cambridge thump away. It's a wonderful ball forward towards Mullin, keeper off of his line. Morris doing just enough maybe to stop Mullin doubling the advantage here for Cambridge. And then the defender to the rescue. This is a superb piece of defending. Mullin just lobbing the ball over the keeper here. Has the presence of mind here, the defender, to nod over the bar. Brilliant work by Craig. Doherty again. Forcing his way forwards. Comes back towards Hesketh. Had an impressive performance so far in this game. Wants it back from Powell. Gets it too. Allowed to travel forwards. Very congested in front of that penalty area though. Tough to thread the ball through. Hesketh. Now Nichols. Nice pass into his strike partner. They combine and they level up here. Max Waters proving to be some signing for Crawley Town. Combining brilliantly here with Nichols, which will delight fans of Crawley, management team as well. Lovely pass and a fine finish. Game hangs in the balance here. Crawley scoring that goal just before half-time. Cross very nearly finds its way into the back of the net. We nearly had an own goal there. Mullin draws the save. Morris onto the ball. Well, let's just watch this back. Very nearly a comical own goal. Not for the first time in this game. Crawley with some superb defending to recover. Deep delivery comes out to Hesketh. Southampton low knee recycles out towards Matthews on the right hand side. Chance for Matthews to get the ball into the area. It's blocked by Ardale. Matthews, delivery to the back of the penalty area is glanced in. Well, all the talk before the start of this game is about Cambridge's front two, but it's Waters and Nichols doing the business for Crawley. Another goal for Nichols to make it Crawley 2, Cambridge 1. Nichols again the target. Certainly not the biggest, but he's a nuisance. He's proved to be a real pest for Cambridge in this game. Hesketh carries forwards. More and more the game's gone on. He's really started to show what he's all about. Move the ball wide. Delivery is a good one as well. Another chance for Crawley. It needed the save from Mitov. Not too many teams that have taken the game to Cambridge this season. Crawley showing that the result that they had against Tranmere in midweek wasn't a one-off. Looking very good here. Trouble there. Houlihan trying to create something. Boateng with a challenge. Two players there sliding in. It was a tough challenge. Hesketh will be penalised. And the referee is producing a red card here. Disappointing here for Hesketh, who does go in, perhaps with his studs up, but both players do. And a fine performance for him, and it's a big loss for Crawley.
Yes, welcome back to the Abbey Stadium. We are about, 20 minutes? 15, 20 minutes away from kick-off. We didn't take this time to thank our sponsor here on Talk of the Town, Mr. Declutter, who has sponsored the show, which enables us to keep bringing you this high-quality content every single week. So a huge thank you to the guys over at Mr. Declutter. If you are looking at getting a house cleared, or your business cleared, or just generally looking to make some more space, please do get in touch. Mr. Declutter, around here, I think, somewhere. So yeah, huge thanks to them for enabling us to keep putting on this show every week. And please, if you can support them, that's great, because they've been a great support to us and everyone on the show. More high quality content we're bringing you here, as we have got a very suave looking groundsman, Ben. Ben, we don't often get you on here talking to the town, but we got a talking point here. The pitch, there's been a bit of talk on the last few days talking about, if there's any more rain, I don't think the pitch is going to struggle. We're here, it looks a little bit ropey. What's your take on it?
Well, it does look a little bit soft and wet, but it's been a tough January for ground staff all up and down the country, to be honest.
Hang on, let me just get my violin out.
Look, I've probably been quite lucky in the fact that we haven't played since Leeds because of COVID and stuff, and our pitch had a nice break. We've got a few games coming up this week and this month, so mine could look like that in a few weeks, so I'm not going to say anything. But look, it's tough time of year for ground staff. You just got to get games on, and the game's on. So
one thing that, and I know Tom, I heard Tom as soon as he walked out, he mentioned it. There seems to be a lot of sand on the pitch. I know we've done that in the past.
I wasn't there. My little break away.
Distance yourself on that one.
My little break away. Look, we've had investment from a Premier League club, haven't we? So that's why we're where we are.
But what's the purpose behind putting sand on it? Is it a case of just trying to sort of
stabilise, suck the moisture up, and make it a bit firmer, and maybe it's a bit soft under this side, shaded probably, and I think the far side looks the same. So just try and firm it up and make it flat and
How much pressure over the years do you get from managers and coaches and stuff like that under the quality of the pitch? Because it might be something fans don't really realise, is that a lot of managers come in and they expect the highest quality surface to play on.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's same in any sport that we have to look after various sports, but when you win a game, it's fine. When something goes wrong, there's someone to blame, and the pitch is sometimes there to blame. But we're on a 10-game unbeaten run when the pitch was poor last year. The pitch has been good this year, and we're still winning. So, managers, and I've learned over the years since maybe Steve Evans' days when I worked for him, I used to take it to heart and stuff. But you realise if you do the best you can, managers are always going to have their opinion, but they come and go, unfortunately.
And how much influence does a manager have on a pitch, for example? Will John, do you think the pitch will take into account his selection? So like today, will he have looked at maybe the pitch previously and gone, actually, I'm going to play a certain way? We just discussed there, it looks like maybe we're playing a three at the back with wing backs. Obviously, we don't know. We're just sort of gauging what's happening from the warm-up. Do you think the pitch comes into that sort of thing?
Sometimes. I've had a lot of managers like it wet and dry and leave it longer, this and the other. Dean Saunders was one for that. John's not so much. We all know John's a bit old school. I'll ask him the questions. Do you want it wet? Do you want it dry? And he go, look, do what you want, do what's best for the grass, stuff like that. So, look, some managers do. John's not like that. So.
Yeah, and obviously you've watched a lot of games this season. You're going pretty much every game. What do you make? What do you make of the side? They're doing well, aren't they?
Look, I said to John this morning when I got up, I followed the team right, obviously this year, but I went for a few games last year. It's just nice, that buzz around the club. We fancy ourselves in every game, don't we? It's nice to get in the car on the way here and go, I think we can win this, whereby previous years maybe hasn't so much been like that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Yeah, no, I was just going to add as well, is that now that you can sort of, so we're lucky enough to be able to come and watch the games from a little bit closer. I was going to say, I don't want to tempt fate, but I know that I fancy it. Do you think we'll go up?
I think we've got to be looking minimum playoffs. I think that's it. I mean, I wouldn't even rule that automatic. You put me on the spot there, but I know. I fancy this in every game. I mean, and we held our own against Bournemouth. We could have lost probably 5 or 6, but in the other token, we could have gone extra time. And we never looked beaten. We never looked beaten. We were going 1-0 down. We looked like we were going to go and win 2-1.
I honestly think it's the best group of players we've had in probably since we've been relegated to League Two.
The players are going in. Ben, huge thank you for your insight. It'll be interesting to see how the pitch holds up and whether it does.
Not very well, I don't think. I mean, it looks like they've played 90 minutes already.
I was going to say, it looks worse now.
The ground staff done well getting it on. Game's on. So
that's it. We're happy. We're happy to get a game on. Yeah, the groundsman you. Love that. We spoke there about the improvement in the squad in the summer. We have signed 2 new players. The first of which is Jordan Maguire-Drew. Let's see how he had to.
Delighted to be here. No, yeah, I'm glad it's all done and dusted now. It's been a few weeks in the making, but no, I'm happy to be here.
And I believe you're down at training this morning. How was it meeting the lads for the first time?
Yeah, no, they've all welcomed me in. So no, it was a good training session. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to getting started now.
And were there any familiar faces in the camp?
Yeah, I've played with a few, like the likes of Josh Wright, Tom Dallison, James Tilley and Archie Davis, back in when I was at Brighton, obviously back at Orient, where I've just come from.
And you're a local lad, Jordan, living in Crawley?
Yeah, no, I grew up in the area and I've been here ever since. I went to Thomas Bennett over the road, so now I'm buzzing to be here.
And for the fans that don't know about you, what kind of player are you and what do you think you can bring to the table this year?
I'm a very creative player. I like to get the crowd on their feet. I like to create and score a lot of goals and help get the team up the pitch as far as I can so the defenders can have a respite and don't have to defend a lot.
And what are your personal aspirations for the season ahead with Crawley?
We're in a brilliant position now where I've joined, so I'm hoping to help achieve promotion, and that'll be very good.
Jordan, welcome to Crawley. Delighted to have you here.
Thank you.
That is almost all we have time for here at the Abbey Stadium, but we have brought in a talk
in
of the town
there.
legend.
Thank you.
It's Ken. Ken, just as we wrap up, both of you, going to be a tough one here today, I reckon.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's get Ken's thoughts.
Go on,
Yeah,
Ken.
so the good team, aren't they, Cambridge this year? You've got to be good to be top of the league, haven't you? As we know, in the past when we've been top of the league. Oh, is Nick waving at me up there? Is he?
No, it's right.
Hello,
Tom
Nick.
was waving behind you.
Hello. Oh, sorry, Nick. I thought you was waving to me then. Yeah, I mean, obviously, going to be a tough game against Cambridge. They got a few players out today, haven't they? So hopefully we'll be able to get. And with our new boys coming in, you
What do you
never
think
know.
the score's going to be, Ken?
I think we could win this 3-1. I think.
Oh, was
Yeah.
it 3-1 when we played them at home? Was it 2-1?
2-1.
2-1. Okay.
When we beat them at home, yeah.
Good. What do I
Good
know?
research.
So Ken and Harry, you boys on the eye follow
Yep,
this afternoon.
Jump straight onto the commentary
Me
after
and
this.
Harry, I'm going to try to call him Harry all the way through, not call him Gary or John as I did last time when we were at Bolton. But this isn't quite as cold as Bolton, but it is cold here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is cold. It really, I got out of the car and was like, everywhere we go, it seems to be cold at the moment.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
But I suppose winter will do that to a country. Anyway, yes, that is all the time we've got. Thank you very much to the Ryan Cantor Club who have got us all here, as always, for the away games. Huge thank you to Keith, James,
Cheers,
Allison,
Keith.
and the team at Ryan Cantor Club for getting here. We are looking at introducing a new segment on Talk of the Town. Can I get an ooh? Good crowd participation there. We've got a bit of an audience here.
Our
with media
socially
lads.
distanced live audience.
You are very, very welcome. Spread out here. We're looking at maybe a Dear Ken. A Dear Ken section. If you have a problem, if you are at home, stuck at home, maybe with the wife or the husband, the kids. I'm not talking about personally, but if maybe you're having iFollow troubles. Maybe she doesn't understand that you need to take your laptop to the toilet.
Exactly.
Because you might miss a goal. If you have a problem, you can write into us here at Dear Ken. Email me, Joe Comper at crawleytownfc.com with your problem. We'll put it to Ken live on air. I've got one for you now, Ken. I think we've got time.
Go on then.
Very brief one. My friend, we'll call him Mo. It's a friend, Mo.
Okay.
There's a game at home next week, and he runs a very popular pre-match show. But it's his son's 4th birthday on Saturday. What should he do, Ken?
Well, for the Saturday game, I mean, obviously, bring his 4-year-old to the game if he could.
If he could, Ken.
Back to when we're back to real life again. But other than that, I think he shouldn't be. He should just let Harry take over.
So you're saying Mo shouldn't come to the game?
No, I think he should be at home with his children. I mean, they only have their 4th birthday once, Joe, don't they?
It's not me, Ken. I'm talking about Mo.
My
friend Mo.
But I mean, you could be Mo, really, couldn't you? You know what I mean?
That is the quality that we could. If you have a problem, you have something that you want to get a Ken's advice from, right into us. Joe Combat at crawleytownfc.com.
Must stay at home. Your son will feel neglected if you don't.
No, it's not me. It's Mo.
Okay.
On that high note, we are going to leave it there. Fingers crossed the Reds can get a big 3 points here at the Abbey. All that's left for all three of us to say is, come on,
you Reds!
What a show! If you enjoyed it as much as we did, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon so you can be notified about when we are next live here from Talk of the Town. Make sure you don't ever miss an episode, subscribe, hit the bell, and we will see you again very soon.